My family and I were really sick last week. I was the one that got it first, then the kids. My husband got it a little bit. So I'm going to tell you what I did to help treat everybody in the family to get us all better. So that would be me, my 3 kids, which she's going to be 6 in just a few days. This Saturday she'll be 6, our oldest daughter. And then my son is 2, and then our daughter is 7 months. And the baby even got sick, which is not ideal for anyone, for any of the kids to get sick. And like I said, my husband just got a small dose of it, I think, because I was like, giving everybody all the things immediately. So I was the one that got it first. It was really bad body aches, a lot of upper respiratory, just feeling really crummy. First off, anytime anyone is sick, or you've been around anyone that's sick, or even just to help prevent it, you want to cut up onions in your house, put it on glass or ceramic bowls, put them all around the house, especially in the bedroom, especially beside the bed. Red onion is good whenever you're actively sick, or you've been around someone that's sick. Red onion. Yellow onion would be also good if you don't have any red, or just as a preventative. White, you don't really want to get it. Doesn't have quite as much of the properties, doesn't do as good of a job as red or yellow. So red, active sickness. Yellow, to help prevent, or if you don't have red. So cut those up. What I personally do is I'll cut it in half, and then I'll cut those halves in half. And depending on how big, like if it was this, I might just stop there. If it was a large one like this, I might go ahead and cut that up again. Just cut it up into pieces and spread the multiple onions all around the house. That will help to cleanse and purify the air. It helps to get bacteria, sickness, all kinds of things. Helps to clean your air. Even if you have a freshly painted room, it will help to absorb that paint smell. Also, that's why you don't really want to be eating onions at restaurants or at a buffet or something where you don't really know how long they've been cut, because as soon as the onion is cut, it's absorbing things. It's also why you don't want to store them in your refrigerator. You want to always freeze an onion if you have pieces that you want to save. Because, like I said, it absorbs everything. It's actually one of the top reasons why people get food poisoning in restaurants. So, cut up your onion, put it all over. Also, I would dice up an onion, either the yellow or the red. Dice it up into small pieces, put it in a mason jar with a lid, or any glass with a lid. Fill that up with water. Put that in the refrigerator. After about 10, 12 hours, start drinking that water. You can mix it up with juice or something. I kind of prefer to just down it and then take some juice after. It's really not as bad as you would think that it would be, actually. Also, I did the flu balm. This was for the adults. The flu balm, I do have a recipe for that on my Patreon. But basically, you would take like a 1-inch or so section of ginger. You can peel the skin if you want. You don't have to. Dice that up finely. Put that in there. I don't have a nice big pretty clove of garlic, but you want to get 2 to 3 cloves of garlic. Dice those up finely. Put that in there. Get 1/4 to 1/2 a teaspoon or more of cayenne. Put that in there. The juice of 1 whole lemon. And then you want raw, unfiltered honey. Put that in there to taste. Fill that up with water. Put it in a container with a lid and drink that throughout the day. You don't have to like chew up the pieces or anything. You can just kind of take it down, whenever you get to the ginger and the garlic. And that flu balm really, really helps with things. Okay, if I was to start to get a headache or anything like that, I would take a shot of cayenne. Now I'd also take a shot of turmeric, black pepper. You always want to put a little bit of black pepper in with your turmeric to help the body absorb it. Whenever I was sleeping, I put a slice of an onion. So I would just cut, a section out, a slice around, put that on the bottom of my feet, put socks on it, sleep with that. That really helps with head and chest colds. Also, I would do the same thing. I would kind of interchange between onion and potato, just a regular russet potato. I kind of like to slice it lengthwise, put those slices on the bottom of my feet, sleep with socks overnight. If you have an active sickness, it will turn black by the next morning. I have some pictures. I might add some pictures if I can figure out how to do that. So the potatoes and onions on the feet helps immensely. And then I didn't bring my Epsom salt and my baking soda out here, but I would make an Epsom salt, heavy Epsom salt bath with some baking soda in there. And I would put a few drops of peppermint oil and eucalyptus oil, a few drops of both of these in the bath, and all that really helped to soothe the body aches, helped to clear out the sinuses and the chest, all of that. I would also, during the day, mostly put some frankincense and oil of oregano on my feet. You want to always put these in a carrier oil. So jojoba, coconut oil, olive oil, kukui nut oil, you know, things of that nature, almond oil, any kind of carrier oil, even vitamin E you can use. I would put that on the bottom of my feet. So with putting things on the bottom of your feet have some of the biggest pores that are on your body, and they really help to absorb. And especially like with the onion and stuff, your body knows what it needs to do. Our bodies are made to heal themselves if we give it the proper conditions. So it will just take that onion or that potato or the oils and put it anywhere in your body that it needs to go. You can even put cayenne pepper on the bottom of your feet too, which I didn't do that within this sickness. And another thing that I did, I made a lot of teas. Okay, so elderberries, top notch, always my go-to, especially for the kids. You can even make lollipops or gummies. I do a lot of teas with them. I always do elderberry and rose hips together. Personally, rose hips are very high in vitamin C. I also would add in reishi mushrooms. I would just take 1 or 2 slices of this, break it up, put it in the tea. I also did a lot of ashwagandha and astragalus root. So all of these, the roots, elderberries especially, rose hips, reishi mushrooms, these you're making more of a decoction with. So you're going to want to boil it at a low, not like a heavy boil, you know, a light boil for a while to help to seep out all of the properties, to help break down the outside cellular wall, to seep it into the water. Elderberries, anytime you're making an elderberry tea or an elderberry syrup of something like that, you want to put it in your pot. I prefer to actually start it cold, not get my water boiling yet. I'll just put all my things in there. So elderberries, you want to always put them in a pot. Like I said, I start out cold, and you want to have no lid. Boil it for at least 30 minutes because elderberries have tannins and all kinds of things in it that can give you a funky tummy, and you really want to be able to boil those out, and that's why you want to keep it without a lid so you can release those things. So I would do all of those together, the ones that need to be made more in a decoction style to where you're boiling it for a long time, not just steeping it. And then for my steeping teas, mullein, this is some that I wild harvested myself at our friend's land. Anytime you wild harvest anything, you want to make sure you're not by a roadside, somewhere that could be sprayed with pesticides or a lot of heavy fumes or toxins. You know, you want to get it from a nice area, which I was so fortunate to be able to find this mullein. Mullein is extremely good for lung support. So if you're having any kind of, you know, sinuses, gunk in your lungs, things like that, or in your chest, I guess I should say, that really helps to get rid of it. Holy basil, did a lot of tulsi, holy basil, shepherd's purse, marshmallow. So all of these things that I showed you, I have so many more suggestions I could give you, but all of these things are child safe for even my toddler. I'm breastfeeding the littlest one. So it's, you know, all of these things are, in my opinion, not trying to be medical, give anyone medical advice. I'm just letting you know what I did. And through all of my own research, through all of these years, these are the things that I did for my kids. They didn't really take the flu bomb so much, you know, with the cayenne and all that. That's not really for the kids. I mean, If you can get them to drink it, do it. But it's spicy and it's like a balm. Oh, also in the flu balm, sometimes I would put 1 drop of the eucalyptus oil in with my flu balm. So for the baby, she's breastfeeding. She's getting all of the benefits of everything that I'm taking within my own body. And also, luckily, thank goodness, she was only sick for like a little bit, half of a night, and into the next day. And then by that night, she was well again. So I was breastfeeding her a lot after taking all of my own teas and medicines. And when I knew that she was not feeling well, I would put little slices of onions on her baby feet with the socks, and that's completely safe to touch their skin and everything, and that helped her so much. I thought I might even do a potato, but I didn't end up needing to do a potato. I did the onion. And she did have a little bit of a fever, so with babies or toddlers, you know, young children, you really want to manage their fevers and not let it get too high. A fever is not a bad thing. A fever is a good thing, but in small children and babies, you can have febrile seizures, which is very scary, and nobody wants that to happen. So you want to be sure to keep that fever managed. And to manage her fever, whenever she did have it for the little while that she did during the day, put cold rags, obviously, on her forehead and on the base of her neck. And I would also put some apple cider vinegar on that rag with the cold water. Every now and then I would touch it up with a little more apple cider vinegar, and that really helps to take the fever out of the babies. And whenever they have the fever, you don't want to have the socks on the feet with the onion. I did not do that whenever she had her fever, because especially with little babies, you know, what they're wearing has a major effect on raising that temperature up a few points or not. So that's what I did for the baby. And for the kids, they took a lot of honey. Oh yes. So I would also do garlic. I don't even chop it up or anything. I just peel it. And I would put cloves of garlic in a mason jar. I just did a smaller one with a lid. Cover that with honey. Ideally, you'd want that to sit and ferment for like a few weeks, and you can have a nice fermented garlic honey, which is super beneficial. And then you can just eat the garlic, and it doesn't even have that bite that garlic has. It gets kind of sweet and more tender. But I just did this, overnight, and then started giving it to the little ones. My 2-year-old loves it. My almost 6-year-old now at this point, she's 5, but only a few days she'll be 6. She didn't like it so much, but she took it. But my 2-year-old, he's like, can I have some more? So, make it up. So just fill it. Your garlic will kind of float to the top of the honey. So you want to kind of turn it around, once or twice a day, or as you think of it. Make sure that garlic's getting, recoated with all that delicious honey. And that garlic honey is really good. So they did the garlic honey. They did all the different kinds of teas. And, at some point, even though like the shepherd's purse and the mullein, you can steep it. It's more leaves. You don't have to make it into a decoction. Whenever I wasn't feeling well for my first batch of tea, I ain't even gonna lie, I just threw it all in there and let it all boil up together at the same time. So, I'm not really one to measure things too much. I kind of just dump it by eye. But most of the roots and the leaves and stuff, I would say probably a teaspoon each, and a tablespoon of the elderberries. And a mixture of all of these things is what saved us and got us well. And let me tell you, that was the sickest that I've been in a while. It was only a few days where I was real bad, but it was not good. And another thing that you can do, which I didn't do this time, but if you have stuff that's in your chest and it's really getting stuck in your chest, and all the mullein and all the different things ain't helping you like you want it to, you can do make a paste of onion, red onion or yellow onion. Make a paste of it, just chop it up, blend it up, whatever you got to do. You can put that on your chest and cover that, and wrap it, whatever you need to do. Put that on your chest, and that will really help to pull it up, warm it up even a little bit. None of us had earaches, but if you do have an earache or something like that going on with your sinuses, you can heat up the whole onion, steam it, put it in your oven, whatever you got to do. Heat up the whole onion. Cut this in half. wrap it with a little bit of cloth or something to where it's cool enough to the touch, not going to burn you, and hold that, the sliced end on your ear. You can even have the other half still in your oven or whatever, keeping warm, and switch that out. And that will really help to relieve some of that pain, draw out that infection. Onions have such a drawing effect, not only with the air, but with our bodies as well. And pretty sure that's all of the things that I did to help get us over that bout of sickness. And if you are experiencing what I did, I hope that you get better so soon. I know if you were to try some of these things, it could really help you. Like I said, I'm not a medical doctor. I'm just someone who has been studying plant medicines for probably the better part of 10 years now. So, and this is what I've used on all my babies. This is what I've used on myself since before I had my first baby. So this is what's been working for my family. Like I said, there is a lot of other things that I could tell you to do, like osha root. I have some osha root syrup in there, but there's not like a lot of studies that have been done while breastfeeding, and so these are all the things that are safe, in my opinion, for breastfeeding or for your young child. Now, of course, if you have a toddler who can't have honey yet, mine is 2, almost 3, so he can have honey, but definitely under 1 year old and under, you don't want to give them honey. Even, maybe closer to 2, some people like to say. So just mix and match, do the things that will work for your babies. And I hope that you get well soon. I hope that you don't need any of this information, but if you do, here it is. I've been feeling like I gotta make a video. I was just kind of down on the energy levels while I was recovering and healing. I mean, being a mom is hard sometimes. It is a beautiful, wonderful road, and I so appreciate every single day and every single moment. But whenever you're sick and you got 3 babies to take care of, and your partner's not at home at the time, like especially with how our schedules go with the baby, she's a party animal right now. She's getting her teeth in. She's getting her teeth in right now, so she's like wanting to stay up all night. And then my 2-year-old gets up super early, so it was like in that cycle. I think that I probably wouldn't have gotten so down if I wasn't like sleep deprived, but that's just how life is sometimes. Life is beautiful and wonderful, hills and valleys, and I am so thankful and appreciative for every moment, and my kids are amazing. And I'm so glad that whenever they're not feeling well, I don't feel helpless. I feel like I know some things that I can do to help them. And I'm not saying that the medical profession isn't that's just not my go-to. That's not my go-to. If I can treat it without conventional antibiotics, because an antibiotic in pill form, not in nature form, is just like a bomb going off in your stomach. It gets rid of all the good bacteria and the bad bacteria. So anytime you do go and are at a point that you have to take antibiotics, you always want to do a probiotic whenever you're done. And anytime you're taking a probiotic, you always want to take a prebiotic, because a prebiotic helps to feed the probiotic. So that's another thing that I was also doing while we were down. I made, chicken noodle soups, a lot of good broth. If you can do some like bone broth, veggie broth, things like that. I was doing some soups to really help with that. And we were doing like drinking kombucha and Yakults and doing a lot of the probiotic things, because, your immune system really, your stomach and your gut health plays a major part in your immune system. So you want to help that as much as you can, especially while you're down and sick and afterwards, after the fact. So just a combination of all these things is what I did for my family and for my children. And if anything resonates with you, let me know if you try it, how it works for you. And I wish you guys all the best. Until next time.